When I reached out to GTD coaching, I had been a struggling GTD practitioner for probably about 10 years. I had tried off and on, found myself really effective when I could stick to GTD, but was struggling with consistency. I had a full-time job. I had a podcast. I had a couple of businesses. And between all of that, the GTD part of my life felt like this on-off, on the wagon, off the wagon practice that when it worked, and then I just didn't trust it and struggled with it the rest of the time. And I got frustrated. I was like, you know what, I need some help. I need some specific, tailored, custom coaching to my situation because there's parts of this that just aren't working for me. And that's when I reached out. I had read GTD multiple times. I had listened to some podcasts, and actually there was a GTD podcast with some of like the European version of GTD, the coaching that's done out there. And there was a few things that all just combined made me realize I need help. One was I had 3 separate emails that I was kind of half using as my to-do list. Sometimes I'd be real faithful and put stuff into OmniFocus. I was big into one of the software platforms, OmniFocus, that GTD is built around GTD. And I was just buried by email, number one. I couldn't manage my calendar. I was always down to the wire on podcast episodes and getting stuff recorded and put out. And just stressed and overwhelmed, and felt like I could barely come up for breath. And I'd occasionally have these manic weeks where I'd catch up on everything, and then it would just be treading water and just kind of suffering through the waves of overwhelm. And I knew that GTD had more to offer, but I couldn't get the weekly review. I couldn't get the daily structure of GTD into my life. And so that's where I had a real need of more help and more coaching. There was 2 like watershed light bulb moments for me working with Megan around GTD. The first was understanding, I am a ADD entrepreneur who is easily distracted and kind of bounces back and forth between stuff. And Megan had done an assessment and a profile and helped me understand my styles of how I get work done, how I focus, and realizing that I'm not alone, number one, and that some aspects of GTD don't suit my personality traits and my strengths and my weaknesses well. And so I needed a more tailored fit version of weekly reviews, of taking breaks, of breaking stuff up. And actually that the second moment this led to was that I do really well in social situations. If I'm with someone, I get work done. If I'm on my own, I procrastinate and struggle. And not feeling bad about that was a huge moment in my coaching, as well as this eventually led me to hiring a personal assistant who's changed my life and been one of the key things that's allowed me to function on all these levels and run multiple businesses and have a podcast and have a life and have boundaries. And getting through the guilt that I found that I wasn't naturally good at this stuff was a huge light bulb, but then also just realizing, okay, it's okay. I need help with certain aspects, and that's okay. And that has unlocked a whole nother set of possibilities for me.